Hello there.
Hello.
You right?
I'm alright. I'm on my period.
Oh, Goose is in pain.
I really suffer with my period, as you know.
Yeah.
But again, we're not sponsored by them, but Uvi. I've strapped my Uvi on.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know.
Yeah, explain for the listeners what an UV is.
An Uvi is it's like TENS technology that they use on like pregnant women. When they're having contractions to stop the pain, but it's like a really tiny version of it that you strap to your tummy.
Oh.
Yeah, and it gives you electric shock. So I'm currently getting electric shocked right now.
God, the shit that...
Being a woman.
Yeah, it's rough.
Fucking horrific.
Rough Shino, as
I
you'd
bet
say.
you a bloke couldn't sit here getting electrified with like something punching your gut and do a podcast.
Yeah.
Soz, like,
Yeah.
we're the real warriors.
Yeah. So, as
How are you?
always... Oh, yeah, I'm all right,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
It's been a bit of a week, as you know.
Yeah.
But,
Boy problems.
yeah, men are trash.
Men are what's new?
What's new? And also the election this week. I mean, this is a place for you to laugh, so we're not going to go into it, but it's been a bit of a week. So let's have some fun. Let's
have some fun.
Yeah. So as always, we start our episodes with an embarrassing story, and today we're going to talk about weird jobs, weird job horror stories. But before we get into that, we'll do our embarrassing story of the week.
Yeah.
We were like chatting earlier, and neither of us had something that embarrassing happen this week specifically.
No.
But we thought we'd tell a story from when we were younger, which is one of our favourites.
Another banger.
Another banger. So we were in, oh God, I mean, we must have been like,
young.
8, 9,
Yeah.
10?
Yeah. Well, we're at the stage of still painting our faces.
Yeah, so we must have, I hope we weren't like 16. And then we were in your old house and we were like face painting upstairs, blah, 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 having fun.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've got all these little pots of water, paintbrushes, paints, the whole works.
Yeah.
Adorable.
Adored.
And then we're like, right, we've finished face painting, let's go downstairs.
Yeah. So I had these really narrow set of stairs at the
That
old
were
house.
carpeted.
That were carpeted,
Yeah.
it was like a deep blue. It's like royal blue. Do you remember that?
Oh, I thought it was like, in my memory, it's like red or green or something. I don't know.
Oh, no, girl. Blue.
Blue.
Royal blue. And we've got all our stuff, and I turn to Weave, and I'm like, okay, now whatever you do, don't slip. I start to go down the stairs. We've got all our paints in our hands. 2 steps in. What does Weave do? Legs flying.
Yeah.
Knocked into me like dominoes.
Literally. Because when I slipped, went down on my arse, doom, down the stairs, take you out from under your feet with me, and paint
Like a
and
slide.
water up in the air everywhere. And we like, do, down the bottom of the stairs on our bums. And we landed at the bottom of the stairs and we're like, and your mum was like, what's happened to you, okay?
I remember Mum coming up to us and being like, oh my God. And then you started crying.
Did I cry?
Yeah, because I think your tailbone
Oh, I hurt myself, yeah.
smacked itself on 10 stairs.
Oh my God.
I think after the shock wore off, I was like, I told you not to sleep.
Yeah, that was the funniest thing is that you turn to me and you're like, whatever you do, don't slip. And I'm like, yeah, right. Literally.
Barely 2 steps.
And I slipped. I never slipped down the stairs. And it's the one time.
The one time.
Carry all this stuff.
Oh my God.
Oh, so funny.
That's a bit of a golden
moment. You had to be there.
Yeah, you had to be there. I didn't have an embarrassing moment last night, but I got into not a fight.
Oh.
I got in a little altercation with a bloke at a bar.
So we went to a comedy show.
Yeah, really good one.
Yeah, it was actually really fun.
Yeah.
And
the female comedian was the funniest.
Yeah, she was the best one, yeah.
But I don't know, I'm having a bit of a moment. I'm always sick of men, but I'm particularly sick of men. Because the elections, my period. It's a woman thing. And I go to the middle of the bar, and this old dude just comes up to me, and he's like, excuse me, there's a queue. I'm here to see the comedy. So there's a queue, so I need to get my drink. And I just turned to him, I was like, chill out. Because I thought, there's nothing worse than when someone tells you to chill out. Because that sparks my anger even more. So I was like, chill out, bro. And I turned and he got freaking served before me anyway. So I turned to him and I was like, well, congrats, you got served before me anyway. But it was one of those things where I was so...
Just like, fuck you.
Oh, I was seething.
Yeah.
I was seething. It's like, you know, when you sit there in your anger for the first part of the comedy, I was like,
yeah, like you, yeah, you're like, I couldn't even focus on the comedian because I was just raging. Yeah.
Knowing he was in the audience there.
Oh, God, what
But that was a bit embarrassing on my part. I shouldn't have, I don't know. Maybe I should have just been
you
like...
handled that well, rather than like picking a fight, you're just like, chill out. Like...
God, annoying.
Yeah, that is annoying.
Embarrassing for him. That's his embarrassing story of the week.
That's his embarrassing story.
On his podcast.
we were like, because we were a bit late to the comedy show, we got sat in the front row.
Yeah.
Like, and when I say front row, like the comedians were spitting on us. Like, we were so close.
Yeah.
And we obviously got like picked on. Yeah. And like he was going down the line and he was like asking us what we all did, and then he got to Goose and you're like, oh, I'm an actor, and he was like, oh, anything that we would have known, and you were like, oh, probably not.
Probably
like,
not.
He was like, oh, go on. I was like, you made you like say the title of this like thriller that you were in, but he seemed very impressed because you said you had a lot of screen time on it.
That's true.
So he was like, we've got a professional in the room.
That's true. I had to big myself up after he was like, I was like, oh yeah, I've been in Purgatory, a series, and then he went, anybody heard of Purgatory? Dead silence.
Yeah.
Dead silence. I think a bit of me died. I was like, oh. Well, great. Well, that's no surprise, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Shit.
Imagine someone was like, hey.
One guy's like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
That's my favourite. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Well, there you go.
So, I guess it's a good segue.
Oh, yeah, it's a good
into,
segue.
Jobs. So, obviously, Goose and I are creatives. You know, we've done a lot of, and as a consequence, have done a lot of random fucking jobs in our time.
Trying to make ends meet.
Whether that's related to the field we're in or completely unrelated. So we thought we'd share some of our hilarious job stories today, and also some others that we found on the internet, because why not?
Yeah.
So in my time, I've had many jobs. Went to uni, you know, like trying to, you know, pay the bills. Did a lot of bar jobs. That was kind of the standard for a while. And nothing particularly weird happened there, but, you know, just like customers and like whatnot. And I remember actually one night, the bar manager was like, oh, it's full moon tonight. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, customers are weird on a full moon.
Oh,
and I was like,
really?
What do you mean? And he was like, every full moon, weird shit happens and everyone's in a weird mood. And I was like, what? And I think some weird shit went down that night. I can't remember what it was, but like whether it's fights or like people just acting a bit odd. And
because I guess the moon controls water, right? Like the waves.
And we are like
70% something
like,
water.
Yeah.
Fair play. Maybe those horoscopes are right.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh?
And then, but my, like, undoubtedly my craziest job has been working at the Naturist Spa.
Oh.
And Naturist, yes.
Wait, hang on. To circle back to the full moon thing, did anything weird happen?
Yeah, I think something weird did happen, but I just couldn't remember what it was.
Oh, right.
I think like a fight broke out or something.
Oh, people are just emotional.
People are weird, yeah. Like they're all het up and like strange.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Crazy.
That could be a good case study to be like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Is there a spike in like crime?
Yeah, if you're a policeman and you're like, okay, boys.
Yeah, it's a full moon tonight.
Yeah. Get your gear on. Yeah. That could be like a really good film.
Yeah, I was just thinking that could be a film.
Yeah, the full moon night.
The full moon. But yeah, anyway, Nature Spa. So at a Nature Spa, everyone is naked. And
brilliant.
I got many phone calls asking if the staff were also naked, to which
How
I
did
said...
you get this job?
Well, basically, I was at a pub. I've been working at pubs my whole time in uni, and I was like, I'm so sick of this. Like, I hate finishing work so late.
Oh, yeah.
And just like, you know, it's just not the best. I don't enjoy it. So then my friend at the time was working at this Nature Spa, and my other friend as well. So like she kind of got her in, and they were doing it, and I was like, well, you know, if they're working at a spa, like it must be quite nice, quite relaxing maybe. Boy, was I wrong. So I, like, the owners it was like a family run business,
Oh.
which is already kind of fucking weird.
Interesting that they were like, let's start a business. Naked people in spas.
Yeah. And the owners were odd for sure.
Right.
But I don't know, like, you know how you like when you get a job, you just put up with like strange people who's just like, well, I need the
Yeah.
money and whatever.
They seem like the kind of couple that would have like swingers parties on Saturdays. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was run by sisters.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I was imagining like just a horny old couple.
No,
but...
when I say family run business, I mean like their dad owned the spa. Yeah.
That's a bit... No,
Yeah.
sorry, that's a bit weird.
I know.
Were they English?
Mm-hmm.
That's even weirder because we're really prude.
Yeah, I know.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know, it makes no sense. I mean, it wasn't Brighton, but...
True, yeah, different out there.
different out there. But, so yeah, it was like these sisters ran it, and they were like very, like, classic micromanager people. And, oh God, I got so many different stories. I only worked there for 3 months. But so much happened in those 3 months because this was just after I left uni, so I was already really depressed. And then I had this job, and I was like, "Fuck my actual life."
Oh God!
And then like, some of the things that would happen is, you know, people would call up and say, "Oh, so like it's in a naturist spa, so like everyone's naked." I'm like, "Yeah, that's right." And they're like, "Are the staff naked?" And I was like, "No, we're not naked." And stuff like that.
It's the staff naked.
Yeah, and then there was this one guy that would call quite frequently, and who had a foot fetish.
Oh, no.
But I didn't realise it at first because he would just be asking like genuine questions at first, and then he'd be like, "Okay, so like, do you wear shoes in the spa?" And you're like, "No, like, you know, you don't need to wear anything. Like, you know, it's a shoe-free zone." And then he's like, "Okay, but do you wear shoes?" And I'm like, yeah, the staff wear shoes, like we're fully clothed, like everything. Okay, and what size shoe are you? And I'd be like, well, I'm a 6. Yeah. And he's like, okay. And like, I don't know, then I was just like, maybe ask a couple more questions, but because I remember just talking to a colleague, and I was like, I had the weirdest call earlier. This guy was like asking about my shoe size, and she was like, yeah, he calls all the time. That's Derek. He calls all the time. Yeah. And like,
and he never comes in. He just calls.
I don't think I ever met him. I think he just called. I don't think he was actually like a member or like a user of the facilities. He was just...
Oh, dear God.
I know, so weird.
That's really weird.
And then like... Oh God, there's so much more I could say. So when you worked at the spa, there was like a kitchen bit, and then also... And that was all upstairs. So there was like an area... The interior was like so outdated and weird. It was like deep red carpets, black walls, like black leather sofas.
Sounds like a brothel.
Yeah, it like fully looked like that. And there was like a kitchen bit upstairs so people could come and order food. So we did like sandwiches, toasties, salads, like whatever. And I'd have to like go in like at 8:30 in the morning and make like tuna mayo, and it was like so grim.
Oh, that's actually your worst nightmare.
Yeah, that is.
I hate smelly food, especially tuna.
And also, I hate condiments in large quantities. So I'd have to get this bucket, this vat of mayonnaise, and it made me feel, I was like literally gagging and having to like mash egg and fish into it.
No!
It's so gross.
That's disgusting.
So disgusting.
Condiments in large quantities, you're onto something there.
Yeah, I've got some weird phobia of that.
I've never thought about that, but a vat of mayo.
Yeah.
Is
even ketchup
vile.
or any sauce, I'm like, no, that's disgusting. And I love ketchup.
You're right.
Disgusting.
Yeah, in a cute little Heinz bottle.
Fine.
Yummy. Delish. Give me
in a little pot.
Vat of ketchup. Just unlocked a new fear.
Yeah. And that's just full of freaking mayonnaise. So I always found it like gross that like these like people are just like naked, and then they'd come up for like a tuna mayo toasty, and then they go back down and sit in like hot water. Do you know what I mean?
So disgusting. That's vile.
Like, that's so grim.
Why would you want to do that?
I know.
Why?
But they were proper regulars. And there were a
You'd
lot
have
of
to,
new people as well, and I'd have to give them a tour, which was long. But like one of the really funny things was that it was always, there were signs everywhere like, we do not tolerate any amorous behaviour. But they freaking set it up for that shit. Because
Really?
so
For
it's
drama?
over, yeah, so it's over 3 floors, and on this top floor there was this room that staff weren't allowed to go in, and but we could only go in it to clean it. And
Oh, what the fuck?
right, well, just you wait. In this room, you walk in and it's kind of like an L shape, I guess, and it's lined with red leather, like basically like bedding areas.
No.
With mirrors on the ceiling.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my. So it is a brothel,
So it's
basically.
basically, and like I can't tell you the amount of times I'd walk past that room and hear people having sex. And like it was fully, I think it was like, is it called like is it like swingers who like go to like,
Oh yeah,
is that
those
the
parties.
yeah, it was fully like a place for people to just go and swing. And
No wonder they're regulars.
yeah, I know, right?
About the midnight, you right, Derek?
I feel like couples probably met up there, and or is that dogging, or is dogging just cars?
Cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the
Ew.
stationary equivalent of that.
Grossness.
Grossness.
Grossing.
But yeah, it was just like, that was mad. And
That's so weird. That's
So
so
weird.
unbelievably weird. That sounds like something out of like, I don't know, one of those weird British sitcoms that you got in like the 80s.
yeah.
That have a really weird dark vibe and no jokes.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it's filmed really badly. And
Yeah. It was such a
Ew.
weird experience working there. And I remember, last story, but I remember one time I went in and I was really ill. And I said to them, I was like, I'm not well, guys. Like, I think it was like flu or something like really bad where you're also like, you're throwing up, you're shitting yourself, like it's not a good time. And they were like, oh, you need to come in. And I was like, that's bad, because I'm like, not only, they were just like, oh, just don't prepare food, don't be in the kitchen. But I was like, but I'm going around testing the temperature of the water every hour.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be like, if I'm unwell, I will contaminate this water. But anyway, so I'm like, and bear in mind, the bottom of the spa bit where there's a steam room, saunas, pools, it's hot and it's humid. And like, so when you're unwell, it's like,
Oh,
so I was like
yeah.
staggering about, like getting my thermometer, like trying to measure the
Oh,
water.
no.
And then I think I passed out. And then classic.
Every episode.
Every episode.
You're like, yes, I passed out.
I passed out. I fainted. It's either I had fainted or I almost did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I passed out, and then like one of the colleagues came to help me and like brought me up to the staff room, and I was just like lying on the floor because I was like shaking. So I was like I was like hot and cold, like it was horrible.
Oh my god.
And they like got me a can of Coke, and I just sat on the floor for ages. And then after a couple of hours, she was like, the boss came in and she was like, oh, you're right. And I'm like, yeah, not really. And she's like, oh, well, give it a couple hours and then like, you know, see how you feel. And she made me go and like sit down and fold towels, because I was like, I don't really feel like I can like walk around. She was like, okay, just go downstairs and fold towels. So I was there for like an hour and a half, like just slowly like folding towels, like feeling like I'm dying.
You're kidding.
And then eventually she was like, okay, go home. So I think she just saw that I was like so unwell.
yeah.
But I was
Well,
like,
yeah, I mean, fainting is the first sign.
as if I passed out and they gave me a can of Coke and were like, go and fold some towels. Like, that's so fucked.
That's deeply fucked.
Yeah, so bad, right?
But how in your right... to be fair, if you're running a fucking sex spa,
Yeah.
you're probably not exactly going to be like the most moral, high and mighty person.
It was a sex spa.
Oh,
Fully. And they tried to
That's
act
so
like it
peak.
wasn't. And I'm like, it fucking was.
it
But
is.
you know what the funniest thing is? And I'm not going to say his name on air, but I will mouth it to you, is that someone came in and it was an artist that we both know, that we liked and have a picture with. No.
Huh. Yeah.
So he came into the spa once and I was like, I fucking recognise you. And then he gave his name and I was like,
Oh my
God.
jokes.
Yeah. So there's
Oh my
like art, like
God.
music artists that we both know
Yeah.
and have like were like fans of. Like
Yeah,
he,
fans.
yeah, he came into the spa, and I was like, wow,
Did he go into the little red room?
probably. Just got his little willy out and was like chilling in the hot tub. 5 feet apart because we're not gay. So yeah, that is a wild job that I had.
Wow.
And I was only there for a few months, but boy, did a lot happen.
Wow.
It was horrendous. Hated it.
Fair play to you for staying for 3 months.
Well,
That's a long time.
handed in my notice. Can I get another job? And I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like my mental health was on the floor in the gutter, and then I left, and then
in the towel room.
in the towel room at the bottom of the hot tub.
Yeah.
And then this, like, the woman who was like my supervisor wrote a Facebook status about me, and we weren't friends on
What?
Facebook, but like my colleague who got me the job told me, and the status was something like she was Portuguese, and I'm Portuguese, so I think she felt like she had some like shit on me to say. So she was like, what is it with people leaving jobs after a couple months? This would never happen in Portugal. I was like, fuck
This
off.
would never happen in Portugal.
Yeah, I'm like, shut up, bruv. What are you about? Set my mom on you,
Fuck
bruv.
off. She knows your uncle, who knows your wife, who knows your dad.
Exactly.
How rude.
I
How
know,
rude. But it's
so
like,
rude.
maybe have
Also,
a bit
like,
of
you're
empathy for yourself.
sad. Like, she's like 35 and writing a Facebook status about like a 21-year-old.
that-
Like,
oh,
go
that's-
away.
That is pathetic.
And also maybe reflect on why I left, because like,
Yeah.
I'm a grinder. I'm a hard-working gal.
You are. And you'll
Like,
stick at something too.
I'll stick at something. Like I was at until a couple months ago, I was working at a dentist
Yeah.
for a year
So, yeah.
on reception, just under a year, and I fucking hated it. But I stuck
Yeah.
that shit out until I got another job.
Yeah.
So I'll grind.
You will grind. You'll
But-
stick with the shit.
I'll stick with the shit. But the
But,
spa
sex
was
spa?
spec spa
Too far.
too far.
Too far. I can't believe all that
I
happened.
know.
You must have told me at the time, but I've completely forgotten.
Madness.
No
Oh, no, maybe
idea
that
what
was the time that we weren't talking.
Oh yeah,
It would've
listeners,
been.
we didn't talk for 2 years. It was really dramatic. It's Olivia's fault.
Yeah.
Our boyfriends just set each other on each other, basically.
Set us on each
Each other.
Yeah, they were stirring the fucking pot. They were making a big old
Stirring the
casserole. And they were like,
Yeah, yeah. And boil and toil
Yeah.
and travel. Threw a frog in.
yeah.
They were little witches, weren't they?
Yeah. So that's why we didn't talk. So that's why you didn't know. Because this all happened probably, I think it would have been about that time.
No wonder, because I would have remembered
You would have remembered
bae.
that.
Thingy, the musician
Yeah.
going in.
Yeah.
Because that's a shocker.
That is a shocker.
It's funny, I actually thought about that the other day, how we saw him walking down the street and we were like, are you blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
And he turned around really surprised, like, yeah?
Because he's like a really small artist.
He's
like,
not
No, he's not famous, no. And we took a picture with him.
Yeah, but I think he was taking a picture with us. Like, he was like, my fans.
Yeah. I didn't realise that he must live in Brighton.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when we saw him, that was like when I just started uni, that was freshers.
Oh, wow.
So that would have been like September 2016.
Wow.
And then I saw him again like September, October 2019,
Wow.
working at the spa.
God damn.
God
So
damn.
that's where he is. You know, and people are like, oh, I wonder where that artist is. They're at the sex bar.
That was sex spa.
Yeah. No surprise there.
So yeah, that was probably,
Wow.
that was a weird time.
That's got to be a top weirdest job.
Top weirdest jobs. When I'm on Graham Norton and I'm a famous artist,
Yeah.
that's what we'll talk about.
the spa.
The spa.
The niche.
Right,
would
you'll
you,
go.
Would you ever go to a naked spa?
No, like absolutely
worked
not. Unless it was like one in like Norway or Sweden or somewhere where people are actually like respectable and
Yeah. Yeah. European.
and they don't care about nudity.
Yeah.
Here they are frickin' pervs.
Yes.
You cannot tell me
Yes.
that anyone was going to that spa not to perv.
Yeah.
Or I'd go to a female only spa
Oh, there's no.
because it was all like
Oh shit! Of course, it's
it was
men
all
and
like,
women.
Yeah.
No.
And like,
sorry,
a lot of
no.
the men were like old and like, you know, whatever you're thinking in your mind, you're correct. And like, so a lot of women would come up to us and be like, I feel uncomfortable because of this guy. and we'd have to go and be like, you need to not like stare at people and whatever. Yeah, I know. So bizarre.
No. I once got loosely invited to a naked spa, but in the context it was okay because
Explain.
So I was kind of like, there was this French guy who I met and we had a little thing, and he was like, when you come to France, there is a naked spa and we should go. You let me know when you're in France and we'll go to the naked spa. And I was like, sounds fucking amazing. But I had not thought through that there's obviously other naked men and women around there.
Yeah.
So he was probably angling for like, and we'll get it on with lots of other naked people
Yeah,
in the naked spa in France.
Yeah, in France. Yeah, exactly. No, I think it was like a female-only naked spa. Hell yeah.
Yeah, fine.
That'd be
Absolutely
great.
fine.
But
I've only just started to come to terms with like changing. Sorry, I'm setting my UV. It's turned off and it's not electrifying anymore. Come on, crank up the heat. Woo. Okay. Yeah, I've started to come to terms with like at the gym just changing,
yeah,
just
I could
getting
never do
it
it
all out.
before, but now I'm like,
No.
oh, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I'm giving less of a shit.
Yeah. I still feel a bit like, oh.
I think
Don't
I
look
would
at
like
me.
be okay with getting the baps out, but nothing else.
Interesting.
All right, job story.
okay.
Go.
Okay, so fresh out when everyone started going to university, I stayed here. And, you know, jobless, did not know shit dick about the real world. So every week I found an old diary the other day, and on my to-do list it said, ask dad for money. Because I would literally go into Bob's room and just be like, Bob, can I have some money? And then he'd be like, oh, yeah. And then eventually, like, I think after a few weeks, he was like, you got to get a job. Like, I can't afford to keep paying for you.
Yeah.
So my first job was at a call centre.
I remember this.
Selling magazines. So
What kind of magazines did you sell?
all kinds, girl. All kinds. We would kind of rotate sometimes, but I was on the what did I have?
Why do I feel like it was something to do with horses?
Yeah. Yes, actually, okay, now I remember it. So it was in one massive office in Canary Wharf, and it would all be calling up. My station was magazines and subscriptions. Another station was like HelloFresh. So I would have to like sell horse magazines, motorbike magazines, like all sorts of magazines.
Buy this shit?
Yeah.
What?
I know, bizarre. I mean, magazines were more of a thing, I guess,
2016.
7 years ago. So yeah, so I was really shit at it, but the one I was good at was The Economist magazine, bestseller over here because of my posh wanky voice.
Oh,
So I'd call them up and be like, hi, this is Bibi calling from The Economist magazine. And they'd be like, ah, yes, I've been expecting a call.
You're like,
So
hello, child.
Hello, Giles, darling. And then when I call up about like the motorbike magazine, they'd be like, you all right, love? And I'd be like, hello, here to sell you the magazine.
No, fuck
motorbikes for
off.
you. Yeah, they'd be like, fuck, this is this is a scam. But because it was so like, it was such a shit job
Yeah.
that you would just be desperate to leave. And there was this one girl who once a week, if she really had had enough, she would pretend to faint. And it was really, because it was all actors, like who needed a
worked at the
0-hour
call
contract.
centre,
Yeah.
yes.
So she was super dramatic. She'd get up and we would see her start walking and we'd be like, oh my God, what's going to happen? She's going to pretend to faint. And then she'd go, ah, and then fall on the ground.
Stop.
And the manager would kind of like roll his eyes and be like, are you okay? And she would go, are you okay? And she'd be like, oh, where am I? And he'd go, all right, you can take the time off. And she would just be like, okay, thanks, see ya. And she'd do that once a week.
Shut
So
up.
hilarious.
That's so funny. I'm going to
And-
use that.
Yeah, yes. Just, well, then again, you fainted in your job for real.
I did
and they
faint for real.
didn't even let
and
you
they
off.
didn't let me go.
Made you call towels. To be fair, call centre at least had some morals, you know.
Yeah. Did you
But
have any like funny customers?
oh, there was one where So this wasn't my call, this was someone else's. We would like every Friday, we'd get really drunk at lunchtime and we would just be drunk on the phones. And then afterwards listen, like we'd all sit in the office and listen to the funniest calls from the week.
Ooh, this sounds like a hoot. This could also be a sitcom.
It really could.
This could be a sitcom.
It kind of was a hoot. Fridays it was a hoot.
Yeah.
And one of them that we listened to was this old woman that had subscribed to Your Horse magazine. So one of the girls called her up and was like, "Hi, this is Sophie from Your Horse." And then the woman went, "Buttercup?" And she was like, "No, Your Horse, the magazine." And she was like, "Oh, yes." Like she thought that her horse was calling her.
Buttercup, is that you?
So I put that in my play. I don't even remember because it was so jokes, and
That's so funny.
So that was jokes. And also one of the managers, he got fired because we would have like raffles, and the prizes for the raffles were dildos. when the head of the call center found out, they were like, "What the
You
fuck?
can't do
You
that."
can't do that." Yeah.
Wait, so were all the people that worked there women?
No. If
Slay.
you were a bloke, you get a dildo
Get
whether you
fucking
like it or not.
dildo.
Yeah.
What a good time. That's bizarre.
It was.
That's a fucking weird raffle prize.
God, it was weird. Yeah, the whole call centre was bizarre.
Did you hate it?
Yeah.
Soul crushing.
I only liked it when my friend was in. I had one friend there.
When you got a good work friend,
And
that's good.
yeah, when she was in, I was like, thank fuck today's going to be okay. And then I did like drunk Fridays.
Yeah, drunk
Because
Fridays.
being drunk on the phones was fucking funny. And also you make more sales because you don't care.
Yeah.
You're just like, do you want the magazine or not? You know?
And they're like,
Like,
yeah,
I'm
right.
like, yeah, okay, yeah. Here are my bank details.
That's mad.
Yeah. So, and my last anecdote from that I can kind of remember is there was a guy who would he would have a crush on a new person like every day. And obviously it never quite landed. But he would put an origami paper and a pastry on the chosen girl's desk in the morning. So when you walk in and you see your desk has the origami and the pastry, you'd be like, "Oh shit, fuck, that's my fucking turn." And you sit down and he'd pop up and go, "Hello, Bibi. Looking great today, I see. Enjoy your croissant." You'd be like, "Oh no."
I feel like you incorporated that into
I did.
Meet Cute.
I incorporated a lot into my play of the call centre. This is such gold.
Yeah, it's gold.
Such gold.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh
There
my
you
god,
go.
that's so funny that like the chosen one gets an origami.
Yeah, and a
What was
pastry.
it?
It was like an origami bird or like a different shape or
Yeah, a bird on a pastry.
Yeah. Oh, bless him.
It's kind of cute
It's
in a
cute.
sad way.
If he had aimed it at one person, it could have been
Yes.
cute. But it was this thing of like,
Who
you're just shooting your shot.
wherever you can take
Wherever
it.
you could-
yeah. Like I don't even feel fucking special because Danielle got one yesterday and the day before it was Katie. Like,
Yeah. I know you don't really care about me.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh god, that was bizarre.
What about any other jobs?
God, so many. I did one shift at Boots. You didn't know about.
I didn't know about this. So tell me what
Okay.
the fuck? That must have been when
Maybe
we
it
were
was.
talking.
Yeah, got a lot to catch up on.
We do. Tell me.
So Boots, it was in, where was it? The station in East, Liverpool Street Station.
What?
I don't know why I was doing
Why
it
the
there.
fuck did you
I
do
don't-
that?
I think I was so desperate for a job. I don't know why, because I did loads of like perfume shifts. I think I was working for a company where they would place me in different shops
That
to
makes
sell
more sense.
perfume.
I'm like, you working in Boots is rogue.
Yeah, it was rogue. It was. But this was going to be like a proper position at Boots, but in the perfume section.
Managing the perfume desk or whatever the fuck you call it.
Oh, I wish. I was having to just like float around. We had to wear heels and red lipstick and walk around the perfume place.
So it was sales, effectively.
It was sales.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my perfume I had to sell that I would get commission on was the Angelina Jolie perfume.
Okay.
It smells like dog shit.
What?
Dog shit. I smell. Listen, I love Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, I was going to say,
don't get it
you
twisted.
never said a bad word about her.
I
ever.
love that woman. Do not love her perfume, which I'm sure she had nothing to do with.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
probably
yeah,
just
yeah.
bought her face.
Yeah.
But it smelled rank. And like, it was hard to fake that, you know? So every time a customer would come in, they'd be like, yeah, I'm looking for something like fruity, floral for my wife.
Do you know what
And
the
I-
perfume was called?
Oh, shall I? Where's my phone? Like, Google it. It was some really stupid name like Snakebite, you know? Angelina Jolie, perfume de big lips, you know? And
Perfume the big lips.
Galan.
Galan.
Oh yeah, Mongalan. Mongolin.
Mongolin.
Yeah, dog shit, guys. Don't.
So you
So bother with Mongolin. so like, yeah, these people come around asking, and I would every time without fail, I'd be like, oh my god, I know the perfect one. Angelina Jolie Mongolin.
Oh my god.
So bring up the perfume.
Actors
And
should
they
work
would-
in sales, to be fair. 'Cause
Well,
you're-
it does make
yeah.
sense. You're extroverted.
Yeah.
You're selling yourself. You're
Yeah.
desperate anyway. So, you know, triple threat. So, and they would always smell it and be like, this stinks. Like, they would always be like, that's disgusting. Why would you recommend that? And then I'd lose my customer. Because
But
they'd be
what
like,
would
I
it
think
smell
I'll...
of? Like, if you could liken it to something.
chemicals with a hint of like off flour and petrol.
Oh,
Disgusting.
God.
And also because you're smelling perfume all the time, the headache
Yeah, I bet.
after a 12-hour shift in heels.
Well, you only
Afterwards,
did one, but...
but for all my soldiers out there, all my boot soldiers, I feel you.
I feel you. You are seen, you are heard.
You are felt. But I kept my boots tag for so long just because I found it really funny.
That's
So I
hilarious.
frame that.
You should whip that out for Halloween one year.
That is the scariest costume.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and then I had another one shift in a pub, which was just I'd say worse than Boots, actually, because it was a creepy old man pub.
Oh.
And these old
Where
men
was
were
it?
like Ealing across the station, the North Star.
I was going to say, was it the North Star? I
It's
feel
the
like I
North
remember
Star.
you saying this.
Yeah, old man pub.
Is it? I always thought it was quite
Yeah.
popping. Like, there's music going on.
Friday night, yeah, but, you know, on a day
Yeah.
shift on a Tuesday,
Well,
all the divorcee men.
that's any pub on a day shift on a Tuesday.
Yeah, true, yeah.
It's very sad.
That was pretty horrific. Yeah, I just remember this guy trying to give me chocolate, and he was like, "Take it, love. Have it. Enjoy it for lunch." I was like, "I'm vegan, so," and he was like, "Don't worry about that. Not today. Today or not. Take it. Take the chocolate." I was like, "Oh Christ!" And then some guy tried to drag me out of the bar, and the security didn't stop him because he was a regular. And and it was on a Friday night, popping Friday night, and he was dragging me out. And the people that rescued me was a group of girls.
Sorry, you're not boring me. I'm really
Wow.
tired.
Wow. To be fair, yeah, I'm
Couldn't
fading as
hold
well.
it in. I was like, you're trying to hold it in your yawn.
So you know when you try and sneeze with your mouth closed?
Have you seen those videos of people trying to sneeze and not blink, and their eyes are like? But my dad
Your
told
eyes
me,
will pop out your
yeah,
head.
that's what my dad said to me. He was like, "Don't do that. Your eyes will pop out your head."
It's okay, we've gotten through a few stories.
And we're going to tell some ones that we found on the internet.
Yeah.
So my favourite one that I found was my friend's job was he worked at a home that mostly unsuccessfully tried to help people with like basically like learning disabilities take care of themselves.
Oh, yeah.
So he took him to the grocery store, and the guy's name that... So let's say that the guy... Sorry, let me start this again. No, I'm not going to start again. So the guy that's taking care... The carer is called Steve, and the patient is called George.
Right.
So Steve takes George on a day out, and they go to the supermarket, and then Steve loses George in the supermarket.
Oh, no.
So he's like he's stressed. And then Steve finds George in an aisle fucking a jar of peanut butter with a crowd of kids cheering him on. And the comments are so funny because basically everyone's dropping these like one-line puns. So someone's like, I bet he finished in a jiff, because jiff is like a peanut butter brand in America.
Oh, for God's sake.
Someone else commented, smooth. And then the person under that said, and then a few hours later, crunchy.
Oh.
And then someone else said, that guy is fucking nuts.
Oh, for God's sake. Oh my God.
And then someone was like, do you know what they call him in the UK? A nutter.
Oh my fucking God.
So funny.
Jesus Christ.
Um,
That's something you don't see every day. But also the added element of the kids cheering him on around him.
You're like, yay! And he's like,
go.
fucking a jar of... I mean, how does that even work? How do you get your willy in a peanut butter? Like, it's so
It's quite
thick.
solid. Yeah.
Who knows?
Fair dues. Kudos.
This other one I thought was quite funny. I used to be the assistant to the feline ambassador for an art museum. I was an assistant to a cat puppet.
What?
They had so many terrible puppeteers because they were hiring acting students from a local college. So basically, this guy was an assistant to a cat puppet, but his title was assistant to the feline ambassador. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah. So what do you do for work on a date?
Yeah.
Assistant to the feline ambassador. What about you?
What about you? Then, like, there was a whole thread of people whose jobs are to, like, go on house calls for different reasons. So, like, you happen to go to people's homes, whether you're, like, maybe not house calls exactly, but, like, if you're, like, a postman or, like, someone, like, changed oxygen tanks for people that needed them and stuff like that. So they'd see all sorts. So this one was, like, I used to deliver oxygen to people's homes, saw plenty of weird things, lots of hoarders, but this one took the cake. He didn't want to let us into his house, but I had to do a home safety assessment before I could set up the equipment. He was anxious about letting me in because his house was a mess. He kept telling me about his messy home. Come to find out, it wasn't just messy, it was filled with 200 chickens. He was proud of his show chickens and wouldn't let them live in a barn or coop. The smell was unbearable. Other than that, he was a super nice guy. Imagine the stench.
Oh my God. But the way he was just like, it was a bit messy.
He's like, oh, don't come in, it's a bit messy. And I'm sorry, I've got to, like, do this, like, assessment check. He's like, and you just, like, open the door and there's just
200 chickens
through.
Wow.
Okay, I've got another one.
I fear that would be me. If I worked in the show chicken industry,
You'd be
which I
saving
wouldn't put
them
it
all.
past me, I'd be like, well, they're all coming home with me, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So the next one's like, this person works at a bar. They're like, a car ploughed into the bar I was working in, coming all the way in and flipping a pool table on its side. It pinned 3 off-duty Applebee's waitresses against the bar. No one was hurt, and the woman who was driving tried to order a drink. What the fuck?
Legend. I love that. Hey, can I have a G&T whilst you?
Yeah. Exactly. It's like, you know, those Specsavers adverts were like, what kind of trees was that?
I remember one that I saw of, this is really short, but it's like a woman who was emailing her boss. So she was like, hi, Dave. I'm afraid, and she was supposed to go like, oh, I'm afraid I can't come into work. But after I'm afraid, she accidentally clicked send. And so she just went, hi, Dave. I'm afraid.
Afraid
I'm finding that really funny. Yeah. Afraid of what? So cryptic.
That's so funny.
You know what was a crazy job was that Armenia job where I did, finally getting into acting after the call centre. And it was in Armenia and it was filmed in a cave that was like a few miles underground. It felt. It was very far underground.
Yeah.
And it was in the heart of winter. So we were like in this cave for like 12 hours filming this like thriller series. And so much shit happened. Like this old guy working on it, there were no like safety precautions. So this old guy tripped and smacked his head. So he had to get rushed to hospital. And we were like, what do we do? We're at the beginning of the day. So they were like, just film another scene. Right, turn to page 20. Let's film this scene. So we just did that. And then one of the electrical wires, there was like a fault in it and it started a fire. So a fire suddenly kind of like erupted in this cave filled with 20 actors, 10 crew. So we were all like, get out, everyone out. We were all running up these stairs, like, I don't know, these spiral stairs to the top.
What?
We finally get to the top. And then this one actor's like, oh my God, I left my phone down there. Goes back into the cave with the fire to get his phone and come back out.
How bad was the fire?
I don't know. I didn't properly see it because I was like at the front of the line. I was like, I'm out of here.
Oh, yeah. See you later.
Yeah, see you later, bitches.
There must have been quite a good budget for this.
Yeah, they chucked a lot of money at it. Yeah.
Did it ever come out?
Yeah. This is the one at the comedy night I said called Purgatory.
No
And they,
way.
because it's on. I think it's on Hulu or something.
What?
But
Really?
yeah,
Oh my
we
God.
did. We watched it with Phoebe over COVID. Oh wait, was it us or?
Would have been me.
Oh, it was during the fight.
We were in a
Coming
fight.
up a lot.
Yeah.
Now.
Like, remember this? We're like, oh no. Oh my
Um,
God, I need to see this. No, I do. I want to.
The first episode's quite good, but it descends into chaos. Yeah, but Armenia's a weird. It's nice, but it's got a lot of abandoned buildings because a lot of like revolutions and stuff happened like recently.
Oh really? Wow.
Yeah,
Didn't know that.
Yeah, and they had a whole fight with Turkey over the mountain, and Turkey won. So they got the mountain. So on this Armenian tour, they were like, "We'll take you to the mountain. You can see it, but we can't go on it." So like we would stop at the tour and like the mountain was amazing. It's the one that's like based off of Noah's Ark.
Oh wow.
So it's huge.
Is
as
it like
mountains
on
are.
the border?
Yeah.
I see.
It was teetering on the border. Armenia had it, Turkey had it, Armenia had it, Turkey had it. And eventually, these blokes fighting over mountains, I imagine. Yeah.
God. What next?
Yeah.
Well, as always, you can find us at No Judgment Zone Pod on Instagram and TikTok. I was about to say and Turkey and TikTok. And No Judgment Zone Pod at outlook.com. Send us your confessions, am I the arsehole, advice,
Musings,
like whatever you need.
Clip out bits of paper, whatever interests you.
We want to talk about it.
Until
Until next time.
Bye.